You know that feeling, the buzz in the arena, when a team doesn't just win a championship, but they sweep it? Total dominance.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we saw with Segafredo Bologna in the LBA Finals Unipol 2025.
Exactly. We're diving deep into that today. How they absolutely dismantled Germani Brescia.
Right. It wasn't just a win. It was their 17th title, and achieved with a commanding 3-0 sweep, a real statement series.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission here is to unpack how they pulled off such a dominant performance, especially focusing on that final nail in the coffin, Game 3.
We'll look at the key plays, the strategy, the players who just stepped up massively.
Precisely. The moments and the performances that sealed it.
Okay, so let's jump right into Game 3. They're already up 2-0. How did things kick off? What was the vibe?
Well, you might expect desperation from Brescia, right? But honestly, from the jump, it felt more like Virtus just imposing their will.
Uh-huh.
You saw some early tussles inside, like Zizic and Bilan going at it.
Mm-hmm.
And, players were trading some early threes. Rivers, Ivanovic, Taylor, Tornik'e, Hackett.
Okay, so a bit back and forth initially.
For a moment, yeah. But it became pretty clear pretty quickly that Virtus had, another level they could reach.
And what was that level? Because they took control pretty decisively, didn't they? Their shooting from outside felt, relentless?
Absolutely relentless. And it wasn't just that they were hitting threes. It was the quality of those shots.
Right.
Virtus ran their offense so effectively. They were bending Brescia's defense constantly, creating these wide-open looks. It wasn't just like lucky hot shooting.
Oh, it was systematic.
Exactly. It felt like a systemic breakdown of Brescia's perimeter D.
Yeah.
And that led to that huge 13-0 run.
Wow, 13-0.
Yeah, and then Dow hits that buzzer-beater three at the end of the first, 15-28. That's a huge punch, tactically and psychologically.
For sure. That sets a serious tone. But okay, clinching games can be tricky. You get the lead, but holding it. How did Virtus stop Brescia from clawing back in the second quarter?
That's the really impressive part, I think. They just kept the foot on the gas. Shengelia, he really took over in that second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
His plays weren't just about scoring points. They were like high-impact plays, drawing fouls, forcing rotations, just destabilizing Brescia's whole setup.
So he was the catalyst there.
Definitely a major one. Burnell tried his best for Germani Brescia, tried to keep him hanging around, but Virtus, the black and whites, they just kept coming. Morgan was solid. Diouf had moments. Akele, too.
And the result at halftime?
They went into the break leading 28-50, a massive 22-point lead.
22 points in a potential finals clincher. That's a team that's completely dialed in.
Totally locked in. Almost unheard of, like you said. It really felt like they had the game and the series completely under wraps at that point.
So the second half, Brescia must have thrown everything at them, right? How did Virtus handle that inevitable pushback?
They did try. Bilan and Burnell, they led the charge for Brescia, trying to make a dent. But Virtus just stayed composed. No panic.
Executed.
Exactly. Kept running their stuff. More timely threes from Taylor, from Shengelia. They managed the clock, managed the lead, and just cruised, really, all the way to that 74-96 final score.
It wasn't just about scoring more. It was about controlling everything, the pace, the strategy, just complete command.
Total command.
And speaking of command, we have to talk about Shengelia's individual performance in that Game 3. The numbers are just staggering.
Oh, absolutely legendary stuff. 31 points, which is amazing on its own.
Right.
But then you add perfect shooting from 3-4 for 4, plus 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and that efficiency rating of 46.
Explain that efficiency rating again. What does 46 actually mean in context?
So the efficiency rating basically tries to capture a player's total statistical impact. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, but it also deducts for turnovers and missed shots.
Okay.
A 46 is, it's incredibly rare. It signifies just an almost perfect, all-around dominant game. Truly MVP-level stuff in a deciding game.
Incredible. But you mentioned others stepped up, too. It wasn't just the Shengelia show, right?
Not at all. He was the standout, for sure. But Taylor was fantastic, too. 19 points, hit 5 threes himself, 6 assists. That's a 26 efficiency, which is also excellent.
Solid supporting cast.
Definitely. Diouf added 11 points and 6 boards. Morgan chipped in 11 points, 5 rebounds, couple of steals. It was real team demolition.
And on Brescia's side, just for balance.
Yeah, Burnell really battled, put up 24 points for them. Bilan had 17 and 8 rebounds. Ivanovic and Rivers both got 11. But, it just wasn't nearly enough against that Virtus wave.
So wrapping this up then, we've seen Segafredo Bologna put together this incredibly dominant LBA Finals sweep. They secured championship number 17 through smart strategy, that killer three-point shooting, breaking down the defense, and just some truly outstanding individual performances.
Right, which leads to a bigger thought maybe for
Yeah.
you listening. What does it really mean when a team doesn't just win, but sweeps 3-0 and caps it off with a game like that, with a performance like Shengelia's 46 efficiency?
Yeah, what are all the ingredients that have to come together for that kind of undeniable season-defining dominance?
Exactly. What can we really learn about reaching that peak, both as a team and as an individual, from a victory this complete? Something to think about.